Am I the a-hole for being upset that I found out my wife was pregnant through her friend's social media post? I'm 29, and my wife is 27. We've been married for 2 years, and together for 4. We're both from the same hometown, but currently live in another city. Right now, she's back in our hometown for a family gathering, while I stayed behind due to work. We've been trying to have a baby for the past 3 months, and it finally happened, but the way I found out really upset me. A friend of mine sent me a screenshot in our group chat. It was from an Instagram story posted by one of my wife's friends. The video showed my wife crying, hugging her friends, and the caption said something like, "You're going to be an amazing mom." That's how I found out I was going to be a dad. Not from my wife, but from social media. I immediately called her, and when she picked up, she sounded excited and said, "I have something to tell you." I just replied, "I already know. You're pregnant." She sounded shocked and asked how I knew, so I told her, "I saw it on Instagram. Didn't think to tell me first?" She insisted she hadn't posted anything herself, but I was still furious and said, "Well, your friends did. Thanks for the heads up," before hanging up on her. She kept trying to call me back, but I ignored her until my sister called. My sister had just arrived at my in-laws' house and said everyone was fighting, my wife was locked in her room crying, and the whole atmosphere was chaotic. When I told her why I was upset, my sister said there must be some explanation because this didn't sound like something my wife would do. I wasn't so sure. Later, my sister called back after talking to everyone and explained the situation. Apparently, my wife was late on her period and decided to take a pregnancy test with a friend. The test was positive, and they freaked out. In the excitement, she told her parents and invited some friends over to celebrate. Somewhere in all of this, one of her friends decided to post the moment on Instagram. From the time my wife found out to the time the post went up, only a couple of hours had passed. I guess the plan was to surprise me, but instead, I found out through a screenshot. My sister also told me there was a massive argument among my wife's friends because they were all upset with the one who posted without permission. However, even they couldn't understand why my wife hadn't told me before sharing the news with so many others. I called my wife back later and she was a mess. She kept apologizing and said she had been trying to figure out the best way to surprise me, which is why she hadn't told me right away. I told her I didn't believe her. If she'd wanted to surprise me, why was she ready to tell me the moment I called? She didn't have an answer for that and just cried more. I told her I needed space to think, and she got upset, saying we needed to talk it through. I snapped back, saying, "Talk? So you can make up another excuse?" and hung up. Since then, I've been flooded with messages from friends and family, and I feel completely drained. I've cried more in the past day than I have in years, which is unusual for me. My sister sent me a message that I can't stop thinking about. "This sucks, but don't let it ruin the joy of becoming a dad. You're going to be amazing at this, and that's what matters." I know she's right. I've always dreamed of becoming a father, and I don't want this situation to overshadow the happiness I should feel. But right now, I just feel hurt. Maybe tomorrow I'll try to move past it for my wife's sake. But tonight, I just need to sit with my feelings. AITA